Hey, crafters, crocheters, knitters, and yarn enthusiasts. This is another What's in the Random Yarn Bin video. It should be Wednesday, November 30th. Okay? Um, sorry, messing with my calendar. I'm losing the light today, so I have my ring light on, I got a lamp on. So we are up to Random Yarn Bin number 11. It's one of my bins that was stored in my shed. Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg, where I am going through all of my crochet related stuff, yarn bins, hooks, books, patterns, and partially made projects. Alright, so Random Yarn Bin number 11 has a bunch of number 4 medium worsted weight yarn sitting on top of it, and a bunch of balls of yarn that I already took them out. So I'll take you off the tripod and I'll show you the inside of the bin, okay? You see all this? This was on the top of the bin. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's like 30 balls of yarn there, okay? Just a little leftovers. You know, this one is actually a full skein of Red Heart Super Saver in its navy blue that I had used it on a project, didn't like it, took it all out. A bunch of purple, a bunch of red, and little bits in there. So that was all sitting on the top. This is what's left in the bin, so we're going to go through this, okay? So I know you guys have figured out that I film these videos. I'll film 2, 3, 4 on the same day because it's just easier for me that way. So yeah, still wearing my pink shirt. Alright, on the top, what I have is just some samples that I like to do. There is a granny square with 2 rounds with a pink color. I've got a pale blue color. I've got a spring green color. Oh, and then after the second round of granny, I did a round of single crochet, which I have more of these because they were in another bin weeks and weeks ago. Another pink one. So 2 pink, a blue, and a green. I have one that is white, but it's not a traditional granny, it's a solid granny. There is 1, 2, 3 rounds. Okay. Another green. Darker shade of pink. I wonder if I was just trying to use up some leftovers, like all those little balls of yarn that I have sitting over there. So there's some random granny squares. And I will put them with the rest of the random granny squares that I have in other bins. That pile of hexagons that I showed you in the last video that are made with baby yarn with the sparkle in it that I made in the 90s before my grandma died. I tried it again, and look at that. I actually got the corners this time around. And it's made with, this feels like Karen Simply Soft. So, I finally got the little hexagon. Alright, what else do I got? I was working on a granny with 1, 2, 3, a granny hexagon, so 6 points, 6 sides, 6 corners. But see how it's my stitch count must be wrong somewhere because it's too floppy. I think I have more than I should, but I don't know where I went wrong. And I was using baby yarn, so don't remember what kind of baby yarn. So when I find the yarn, I'll put this back with the yarn, rip this out. I don't know. So here's some more granny squares. 1, 2, 3 rounds with a round of single crochet. Done in white, which is, I can tell this is Karen Simply Soft. There's some white. There's 3 white ones. Some blue. Robin's egg blue, I think this is. It's 2, 3 in the robin's egg blue. And then again, we're trying to do these hexagons. 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Now this one's better because it's smaller and I didn't, maybe this one I finally got the stitch count right. So there's a hexagon in the robin's egg blue and a hexagon in strawberry pink or watermelon pink. And you think this is strawberry. Okay. Alright, so the bottom of this bin is a project that I've been working on for years. And years and years and years. And I haven't finished it. Will I ever finish it? I don't know, hopefully. A couple years ago, and I say a couple, and I probably mean like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, there was a yarn that came out. It is called, pick a color, Deborah Norville collection every day. It is soft worsted weight yarn, anti-pilling. So here we go, Deborah Norville, her everyday yarn. And what they did was they made a whole bunch of variegated colors. Now this is the lighter shade, and I picked this one because it's only 2:30 in the afternoon and it's so dark out already. So this has got pink, orange, yellow, blue. That's the variegated color, right? They had so many colors that came out, and I bought one of every color at the time because I wanted to make a very multicolored blanket. Because if you've been around for any length of time, you know I hate just one color. It bores the crap out of me. So I was trying out all their colors. Like, see? This one. I used this. It's called Parrot. And this one is Winding River. This one is Northern Lights, which is a really pretty color. I like that. So I have a whole bunch of partials in here. Okay, and what I did was I just sat with my hook and I did a double crochet, if I'm looking at this correctly. Yep, double crochet, double. Alright, so what I was doing is I was making a panel where it's not very wide, okay, but you make it long. And then when you're done with this panel, what you would do is you would stitch it together with another panel. And you would either do a whip stitch or a single crochet to connect these, and then you would do another panel. So what I did was I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors per panel. And I did, how many rows per color? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 colors per panel, which used about half a ball of yarn, okay? So this first panel has got this, I don't even know what the colors are at this point. And then there's this color. And then there's this color. And then there's this one. And then there's this one. So this is panel number 1, right? Panel number 2 is this lava rock or something. It's reds and grays and blacks. Love this one. And just red and grays with a little bit of brown. Black and brown and gray. Black, gray, and purple. Blues and blacks with some kind of variegated mixed in there. Right? Now I have a third panel in here, which is this tropical color here. And then these shades of purple. These pink, red, purple, mauve. This one that I don't know the name of. And then this pink and black and gray. So that's the third panel. Why haven't I stitched them all together to make a blanket out of them? Because even though I crochet consistently, I've got one panel that's longer than the other, and I've got one that's shorter than the other. It's the same yarn company. It's the same weight of yarn. It should be a number 4 medium weight. I used the same hook, okay? But for some reason, and the same amount of stitches left and right, the same amount of rows, top and bottom, the numbers all match up, but I've got one that's longer than the other, and I've got one that's shorter than the other. So it goes like this, and like this. That's why I haven't stitched them together, because I haven't figured out how to fill in the gaps, because I've got two that are shorter than one, and that one is longer than the two. So in the meantime, I was still buying more of the yarn that I haven't even used yet, and that's what's left in this bin. So I've got my 3 panels. They came out 3 different sizes. And then I've got the leftovers from these panels. Okay? That's 1, 2... I'll give you the colors on these when I do a video just for that blanket, okay? When I get around to finishing it. So, a whole bunch of leftovers, okay? Little balls of it too. And then I've got balls of brand new yarn that hasn't been used yet. Like this one, the smoothie that I showed you, right? And there is Mediterranean. I've got Pond. It's just called Pond. Okay, leftovers. Oh yeah, man, I got a whole bunch of leftovers going on in here. What else do I have? I've got toasted marshmallow, nice good neutral color. I've got this baby print color, it's called Patty Cake. Now this, color-wise, it would not fit in with what I was doing, so I would have to leave this one out. It would be in your face, just look at me, and then you would not look at the rest of the blanket. So some of these colors I wasn't going to use. I was going to make a second blanket that would have these lighter shades. This one is called Happy Baby. Blues and greens and yellows with some white. I like that. But again, the color would not match at all. This is Beach. And we've got a camo. This is called Oak Moss, which for darker colors with the darker green and the browns in there, it's really pretty. Another baby colored one that called Nursery. This one is called Harvest Melon, and it reminds me so much of the fall with the orange, the greens, the browns. I love this color. And then just a solid blue color from Deborah Norville. It's got cat chew marks on there. Baby blue. I probably used it in another project. The hook I'm using, again, because I leave my hooks with my projects. Another ball of a solid color called Snow White, which you know I love my creamy whites. Okay. So that's what's in here. I like this brand. I like this yarn from Deborah Norville. I like her everyday soft worsted anti-pilling. It is it should be 100% acrylic. Yeah, number 4 medium weight. This is 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 180 yards, and 165 meters. They had a lot of variegated colors at the time. I'm pretty sure they still make this yarn, and I know they expanded their solid colors. I don't know if they still make all of these variegated colors. I don't know. Partly because I don't want to know, because then I would be tempted to go shopping, and I'm not yarn shopping until I take care of the stash that I have here at home, which is what all these videos are about. So because I liked it so much, and my panels, I will eventually figure out how to take care of that difference in the heights on them, okay? I was also making granny squares out of the leftovers. So I'm using a size G. I cannot tell you the millimeters again. It's an old vintage hook from the 70s and the 80s. It was one of my grandma's hooks. So I made solid granny squares. And do you know the difference between a regular granny and a solid granny? Let's see. I can show you. Alright, let's do this. Okay. So a traditional granny square. You still have 4 corners, right? And then you do a cluster of 3 double crochets, a chain space, and 3 double crochets. So that is a traditional granny square. The solid granny is you don't do clusters and you don't do a chain space. You just do double crochets in each stitch. Okay? So that's the difference between a solid granny and a traditional granny. Okay? Which we can always do tutorials on that later after I go through my yarn stash and my project pile. I'm all for doing tutorials to teach people. None of my kids picked up my crochet habit, so I'm more than happy to do tutorials. But it's going to be a year from now after I get through my stash. So with these leftovers, like you see this here, part of this is in the panel that I made, and then part of this I made a granny square out of. Okay? So this is what they look like when they're done up in granny squares, which I actually kind of like it with the way the colors are all over the place. And the yarn is super soft. It's got a satiny feel to it, right? It's a pleasure to work with. It's just my brain works so fast sometimes that when I'm working on a project, I'm already planning out the next one. And sometimes I'll sit and I'll start working on the next one just to abandon both of them for something else because I'm just sometimes so unfocused. So I love the way these squares came out. Would love to lay these out. Okay, look at that. I love the color on this one. And you see how like the green landed here on this side and the blue here on this side, and then all this variegated part here got all clumped together. And it did it here too. I like this. And there's purple. So like some of these yarn bins that I'm going through, they have more than just yarn in them. They have some projects in them. I can't even tell you how long I've been working on this one. This one has, I think I have one set of notes that make absolutely no sense to me. Deborah Norville variegated. I have all 25 colors. Oh, I do have a date on there. Oh, let's finish going through this. Okay. I love that pink and that black. That one came out cute, right? And then this red here. Okay. What do my notes say for Deborah Norville? Okay. Panel number 1 has lava, red rock, antique lavender, winding river, and cold mountain. Panel number 2 has parfait, northern lights, valentine, plum jam, and parrot. Panel number 3 has lilac ridge, flashback, cotton candy, lagoon, and denim. I also have a date on there. September 2015. That's 7 years. Okay. Okay, so this goes into my pile of projects. And the reason it's in a bin is because I was doing 2 different things with it, between making the panels and then making the squares. There we go. That is random yarn bin number 11. It's actually not so random, believe it or not. Most of it is the Deborah Norville every day in a bunch of variegated colors that I'm working 2 different projects on. Okay, and then some sample granny squares, some more, okay, and then all those hand wound balls of yarn over there, okay. And I found 2 hooks. I actually found another hook in here. So that is it for random yarn bin number 11. I am hoping that going through my yarn bins that I can hopefully get them all done by the end of this year, because I actually have to go through them all a second time because I'm finding Red Heart Super Saver in these bins that I'm currently going through, and I've already done 2 or 3 bins of just Red Heart Super Saver, so I'm finding random balls of it, and skeins, and hanks, and hand wound balls. I'm finding so many random bits in these bins that I've got to get them with the rest of the stuff, so I have to go through it a second time. So I'm hoping I can finish up the last of these bins from my shed before the end of 2022. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully I'll see you on Sunday with a blanket project, and then hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday with another yarn bin from my shed. Right now I'm a little overwhelmed because I've done 3 videos in a row and it wound up being 3 bins in a bag, so I think I'm going to take a break for myself. I mean, you guys won't see the break, but I will. Oh, going through all this, I just see how fast my brain would be working sometimes. It's hard to keep up with myself sometimes. Alright, I will, that's it for today. I will catch you guys later. Bye.